Time to react to the deeply unsettling story of Marlow by Muujin. Now, even though I've been playing Minecraft for a long time, I have no idea who Marlowww is. However, I did hear a lot of news about this player, which is why I'm reacting to this video in the first place. So with that said, let's get into the reaction.
Money. It makes the world go round.
Okay.
With people willing to do almost anything to get more of it. In fact, money is so important that it can dictate how society behaves as a whole. If it paid to be kind, then people would be kind. But if it paid more to be evil, then people would simply turn evil. More specifically, if it paid to fake your gender and fake your skill level to millions of people for years by hacking and cheating, some would willingly choose to do so if it was profitable. However, you'd have to be a very special kind of degenerate to do those things, all while planning to publicly fake your own once you were inevitably exposed to be a fraud. Meet Marlowww, who for years was considered to be the most skilled player to ever exist in Minecraft PvP. In parallel to that though, they'd be running a totalitarian regime that would ban and blacklist anyone who doubted or criticized them, throwing all women under the bus by claiming that any and all valid criticisms against them were rooted in misogyny. This would be the community status quo for far too long. And now finally, after all these years of silencing and bullying of critics, Marlowww has finally been exposed to be the ultimate Minecraft fraud who faked everything, even down to their gender.
Oh my goodness, what?
Undeniable proof.
Oh, that's a lot of files.
Seeing how much of an unprecedented disaster this all is,
this has been
it might be to someone who's not.
This has been appearing in my feed more often, so
I figured we had to talk about it. And so, without further ado, let's do this.
Okay.
All right. So if you haven't been living under a rock for the last 2 decades, you probably know what Minecraft is. And when it comes
everyone
to
does.
People, they recognize it as the sandbox survival game, otherwise known as Minecraft Vanilla. Some others might recognize it differently, modding the game heavily with visual and gameplay enhancements and pretty much making it into an entirely different game. However, another sizable chunk of this game's player base will look at it purely from a PvP perspective.
Yeah,
going up
PvP.
against other players to prove their skill in numerous game modes.
I've seen that side of the community too, but not everything though.
Very confusing because these game modes are very different from the gameplay you've come to expect in vanilla or even modded Minecraft. One of these PvP game modes, for example, is called UHC.
Yes, I know that. I know that.
Start with the same exact loadouts, having to use a mix of building, laying things down on the terrain, and also using their weapons and defending all at the same time. Another game mode is called Nethbot, which literally just involves you throwing pots at each other, with many of them having different abilities and effects.
I don't know. I don't know that one.
The most popular and probably the most confusing game mode for new players is Crystal PvP.
Crystal PvP, yeah, dude. I've seen that. I've seen a lot of gameplay of that.
What's going on?
It's crazy.
Involves using a mix of obsidian blocks as well as ender crystals to kill the other player. How did people come up with this concept? Well, that's a 1-hour video by itself.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Crystal PvP a lot. So having to see this, that is yeah, whoever does this kind of PvP, you are crazy. Anyway,
the point is, this game has over 200 million monthly active users that play it, and a good chunk of them play only PvP. This is what they focus on.
I can see that.
Here's the deal. When you focus on something for so long and want to get better at it, there's a question that starts to pop up in the community. Who are the best players for each game mode? In fact, who's the best of them all? And
I've definitely seen that in my side too. I've had a history of being the #1 build battle player a long time ago. So I've definitely seen that happen a lot often in the build battle community, specifically in the Hive server. So yeah, I can definitely understand that aspect of like who is the best at stuff, so I can get the idea of what's going on.
And seeing that all these servers with all these different game modes are unofficial, they're simply not affiliated with the official game or its developers, most had given up on the idea of coming up with a ranking system. But that would of course be until mctiers.com would come along.
MC Tiers?
Tiers would be a community-driven effort to rank players in all 8 of these different game modes. This would all be done through its PvP server on Minecraft called mcpvp.club. Its founders were mainly 3 people: Ends, Learn, and of course, Marlowww. And the way it worked wasn't very simple, actually. In a nutshell, though, MC Tiers would have a Discord for every single one of these game modes. So Crystal PvP, UHC, Pot, etc., etc. It will be open to anyone.
Dude, there's a lot of PvPs. Dude, I think someone has actually told me about this in my previous live streams about PvP stuff. So I only knew about the Crystal PvP and UHC, but a lot of these other things I have little to no knowledge of. So having to see this is definitely interesting.
Let's say you wanted to test out your Crystal PvP level, you would join the server, join the waitlist, and eventually get tested. And the way it would work wouldn't be MMR based like games similar to Valorant or Overwatch. You'd have people in the voice call with you, watching you play and examining your playstyle as you go up against all these different tiers. There'd be 5 of these tiers, tier 5 being the worst and tier 1 being the best. This meant that when it came to this community-driven effort, trust was at its forefront. You were trusting the people examining everyone to do this in a non-biased way and to the best of their ability. But of course, this also meant that this system had a lot of its critics. When confronted, though, the
honestly, this is a kind of a normal thing for Minecraft, for the Minecraft pros. Let's continue.
Response would always be the same. Do you have any better ideas? No one in the community had come close to making something like this. And in fact, today, if you type on Google Minecraft PvP, the first thing you'll see is MC tiers.
MC tiers. I see.
Minecraft's best combat players or participate in the
ranked community.
To many people in Minecraft's sizable PvP community, this was the official ranking for the best players in the world.
Oh, so okay. I never knew about MC tiers. As much as I do enjoy like seeing the best of the best in Minecraft, well, sometimes I feel like when it came to like Minecraft players in general, whenever I see like other pro players, they are pretty toxic. I can understand that there's nothing wrong with being the best, but sometimes such power does eventually corrupt someone, like we did see from the intro. So that's just my thoughts though. Let's continue watching. I'll try not to pause too much.
Period. And speaking of best players, even though Marlowww was one of the co-founders of the website, you'd always manage to see her in the top 3 best players of all time on the leaderboard. This right here is the first version of mctiers.com, which came out shortly after the pandemic, around the early 2020s. By then, for most people, the player It's Real Me was the best Minecraft PvP player of all time. But Marlowww would always be close second. The gap between It's Real Me and Marlowww was always very wide to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th players. They were always in a league of their own, and there's a reason for that. This overall leaderboard would combine all the 8 game modes together for their overall rank. It's Real Me and...
Dude. If they are that good at PvP, I'm definitely gonna lose a fight 100%.
Marlowww were constantly in the top ranks of every single game mode. To make you understand what this means, this is like someone who is a NASCAR driver that also happens to be a rally race car driver and who also happens to be a Formula 1 driver, all at the
well, that explains why there's like a comment from NASCAR. Jeez Louise. Okay, this is real. Okay, I am discovering a new side of the PvP community. I'm mostly from the building side, so that's why I have little to no knowledge of PvP in general. Because as I said, I am mostly about building stuff. So yeah.
Same time. Just because you know how to drive a car doesn't mean you can be good at all these things combined. And it's the same thing here. Just because you're good at one of these game modes doesn't mean you're good at all of them. They all require different strategies, keybinds, and an insane, ridiculous learning curve. But both It's Real Me and Marlowww made it look easy. They were dominating in every single one.
Jeez Louise.
To many, Marlowww was yet on another level. At some point, she beat one of the best PvPers in Minecraft 100-0. Yes, they fought together 100 times, and she didn't let him win once.
Oh, really?
Pierce got absolutely destroyed, utterly owned. And it really to show why Marlowww was so close to beating the best player of all time in rankings soon.
Oh, I see. I did hear about Clown Pierce, but I'm not in tune with the newer creators. Like, I heard about Lifesteal and other SMPs, but I haven't been getting in touch. The type of people, the type of Minecraft YouTubers I still watch are the people from the past, like from old times. So that's why if you were to talk about like new creators, like newer Minecraft YouTubers that are popular right now, I would have like little to no idea to who they are. So like Marlowww in this case.
the Minecraft PvP community, and as recently as 2025, many were in agreement. The best player of all time in Minecraft PvP is Marlowww. No argument, no questions asked. This level of skill definitely came with its advantages, with Marlowww's YouTube channel reaching over 400,000 subscribers, and any video they'd upload getting hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million views consistently. Generating substantial revenue and getting their name more and more known within the community.
That's crazy.
Without mentioning all the collabs she'd do on YouTube with some very well-renowned YouTubers, always titling the video as, I fought the best Minecraft player in this, or I got trained by the world's best Minecraft player in this. And what's interesting is that these channels weren't necessarily PvP oriented, so you had the casual Minecraft crowd that watch YouTube videos be aware of her existence and her unprecedented skill.
Oh, really? I can definitely see that. There's this kind of thing also exists as well in the Hive server. Especially when it came to like what the current #1 build battle player. I've seen a lot of like people wanting to collab with Izzy, because Izzy is the #1 build battle player at the moment, and I've seen a lot of people wanting to challenge her skills. So I can definitely see that in this video here as well, like having to like challenge the best of the best.
And so, to the average bystander, Marlowww had essentially made it. They had worked hard to become one of the best players in the world, and now they finally were able to start reaping the benefits. It would be mistaken to think that this was all sunshine and rainbows. Marlowww had seemingly, for some people, come out of nowhere. And just like that, beaten players that have had so many years of exposure in the community made them look like they were amateurs, like they couldn't even play the game. On top of that, this was a community that had very few women in it. Minecraft PvP is mostly male-oriented. And in a leaderboard that has very few, if not zero women, you'd see one woman come in and get to second place, trailblazing over everyone else. And so if you've been on the internet for long enough, you'd know that all these things combined, especially with the very chaotic Minecraft community, would lead to one of the most unstable periods in Minecraft PvP history, in which Marlowww, at the center of all this, would be subject to massive harassment and criticism. From that chaos, though, would be Marlowww cementing her power like no one could have ever imagined. Dream, a name typically synonymous with cringe or vomit, is a YouTuber.
Oh man, the Minecraft community is definitely suffering, dude. Dude. Okay, from my understanding from this point of this video, it's just another Minecraft drama, dude.
Who at some point was one of, if not the biggest Minecraft YouTuber of all time. This was during the pandemic, getting over 100 million views in some of his videos, as well as 34 million subscribers, would, on June 11th, 2020, claim to have beaten the Minecraft speedrun world record. An incredible feat, but also very divisive. You see, this would lead an unprecedented amount of people to examine every single second of his gameplay.
Oh my goodness.
That there were some things that simply were too improbable statistically to occur at the same time in the same run, to the point where it's almost impossible. It will be centered on some item drop rates that would allow him to finish the game so damn quickly. When confronted with this, Dream would time and time again deny this vehemently, saying that he didn't cheat, it was legit, and even trying to prove that in numerous ways. In fact, by December 2020, he would get so desperate that he would famously hire a Harvard astrophysicist to write a 20-page report.
A 20-page report? Jeez Louise, man. Okay. Let's continue watching. I'm going to make my comment after this.
As to why Dream didn't cheat. Yes, it sounds as ridiculous as you might think, and it actually did happen. I still can't believe it to this day.
Same.
What's important to point out here is that after this paper, and after he tried to disprove it multiple times, his fanatical community, who was extremely big in parasocial at the time, would attack, bully, harass anyone who disagreed. Anyone who'd make a video about this would get bombarded with dislikes, with bad comments. It really set this side of the internet ablaze. Anyone who was a part of the Minecraft community was aware of this. But even so, they didn't let go of this. They weren't going to let him get away with it. And only after a few more months of pressure by the community would Dream finally let go. By May 2021, Dream would write this massively long Twitter post admitting that he cheated, but that he had no idea. He had something installed on his PC, he had forgotten to remove it or something. And oh man, it just so happened to be there, and I how unfortunate. Cheating accidentally happens to the best of us. Well, I'm sure that when he cheated in February 2026, he did that on accident too. but that's a completely different story. All you need to understand is that Dream has quite an impressive cheating resume, okay? And unfortunately, this says a lot about the community. If the biggest Minecraft YouTuber at the time was able to pull off a cheating scandal, then what the hell is stopping everyone else? Nothing, which is what we've been seeing over the last few years.
Yeah, dude, I've been seeing a lot of these, and it's pretty discouraging as a Minecraft fan for a long time. It's like, I don't know, dude. I can't help but always reminisce about how Minecraft was just so simple back then. It's what made Minecraft so much fun. I'm sorry, but I am frustrated by this.
It feels like every month I see something pop up in my recommended about some guy who cheated and deceived the whole community. At this point, it's part of the Minecraft culture. And so because of that, the community, rightfully so, has a lot of trust issues when it comes to records. Whether it be a speedrun record, a PvP record, a ranking system, you name it. This is a very low trust community when it comes to the competitive scene. So by the time Marlowww...
It's also the main reasons why I also gave up on maintaining my title as the #1 build battle player in the Hive server. During that time, I was surpassed around 2023, and I did not have it in me to continue maintaining that title because of all this kind of drama happening in YouTube or just happening in the internet. I did not want to deal with this kind of stuff personally. And I don't want to be known as the best of the best. I want people to know me as who I am as a person. So by the time that other people from the build battle community in my side started wanting to become better, I decided to just give up on it completely, like holding the #1 title. I don't want to get myself into like deep trouble. And I don't want to end up being like the people that change because of, or I don't want to, essentially I don't want to become corrupted, essentially. So just a little bit of a backstory on my side.
Had become the #1 player of all time in PvP, those same suspicions were being put at the forefront yet again. Because she hadn't just beaten the best player of all time, which was It's Real Me, she had wiped the floor with him, sitting at 450 points while he was sitting at 330 points. These points signify an accumulation of every single one of these 8 game modes. And Marlowww was the only player on planet Earth that had gotten tier 1 in every single one of these game modes.
That's crazy.
Someone that is so skilled at driving, they're the best Formula 1 driver, drift car race driver, rally car race driver, NASCAR race driver, just everything. They're the best at everything involving a car? No. And yet there she was doing it. To some, this was an amazing achievement that needed to be celebrated, especially since she was a woman, and you don't see many of those in Minecraft PvP. And to others, this was extremely suspicious, and it didn't necessarily have to do with gender. Well, actually, it kind of did.
Yeah. That is pretty skeptical, not gonna lie.
Because many believed that Marlowww wasn't even a woman. Some had reason to believe that the person behind Marlowww was none other than Danger Mario. A player who already had a bit of a reputation on certain PvP servers, and who created Marlowww as his persona. One of the first people to reveal this to the world would be the YouTuber Zay, uploading a video titled Marlowww's True Identity, 3+ Years of Lies on May 10th, 2024. He would go very deep here, finding an old video of Danger Mario that was deleted off of YouTube and comparing his and Marlowww's hotbar, and they played very similarly in that regard.
Yikes. Dude, it only takes like a few leaks for you to get exposed. So, as one may say, truth will eventually be found. Am I right?
He'd also compare their PC specs based on what Marlowww said and what Danger Mario had already revealed to the internet. They would turn out to be using the exact same PC coincidentally. Zay would then argue that there's sufficient proof to prove that Danger Mario had used the Marlowww account back in 2021 to test whether he'd get banned or not using the Meteor client in one of the PvP servers he was going on.
I don't know what that client is, so...
just so happened to be banned at the same time that Danger Mario had uploaded video talking about the same subject. At the time, Danger Mario used a TTS voice and never revealed his real voice. This video would get a lot of attention because people already had their suspicions, but it would still get a lot of backlash as well. In 2025, someone would come in and type, "This aged like absolute." Someone else would say, "All happened because PvPers never heard of women. Bro isn't cooking. Skull emoji." And overall, he was seen as a complete madman who was prone to conspiracies and who just hated Marlowww because she was a woman. But even though Marloww's community was very loyal and willing to defend her no matter what, it was getting hard to ignore just how skilled Marlowww was, to the point where it was almost inhuman. Back in 2024, this was some of her haters' main criticism. And eventually, it would get too big to ignore because one of the co-founders of MCTears.com, Lauren, would also become convinced that Marlowww has to be cheating. There's no way someone can be that good. It's just inhuman. So Marloww's walls were closing in around her. But even though you might think that this just might be the typical case of a cheater in the Minecraft community, where people keep calling them out, they keep denying it, and eventually they get caught, this here was very different. This was not like the Dream situation, because unlike Dream, Marlowww had a secret weapon. And that weapon was the misogyny shield. You saw it in some of the comments on the video we just saw. Oh, Minecraft player discovers what a woman is. You're just hating because you're insecure, and a woman is top 1 in the game that you play. This would be the community's reaction. If a woman just as much says hi in an online game, she gets instantly killed. Marlowww was aware of this, and seeing that she was getting never before seen criticism from the community, she decided to fully double down on this defense, creating a video response titled My Experience with the Minecraft PvP Community. A 2-hour, 14-minute video going through every piece of criticism ever laid upon her and presenting it with this thumbnail. And I mean, come on, you know, like, it doesn't take a genius here. It makes it look like she's being assaulted by a mob of angry psychos just because she's a woman. The video itself, that's mostly the arguments used here. The video would mostly focus on 2 topics. And Marlowww would speak with, well, a female-sounding voice. It would make Lauren, one of the co-founders of MCTears.com, seem like a backstabbing psychopath who had it in for her just because she's a woman. The other part of the video would focus on the whole idea of totalitarianism, how she silences any critics, and how this whole thing, this whole hoax about how she's actually Danger Mario is nothing more but a carefully engineered lie to smear her. How, according to her, she believes that the Danger Mario account was created and owned by those same haters, how she has nothing to do with it. This video would get over 800,000 views, would be very well received, have a very nice like to dislike ratio, and the comments would be nothing but supportive, reiterating that this is just a game. Or saying things like, absolutely ridiculous the amount of obstacles you had to go through just because you merely existed. Many were convinced that this wasn't a topic about catfishing or cheating. This was purely insecure men who just couldn't stand seeing a woman be better than them in a game. It made the overall Minecraft community look bad. Something that this community truly didn't need, seeing as like every year there's a content creator that comes out to be some sort of child diddler. And it strengthened the misogyny shield defense to unprecedented levels.
I don't know what this shield is, but I'll probably research it later. Dude, I am just getting even more annoyed by this. Can we just not just play Minecraft normally? Jeez, man.
For Marlowww. But again, while some were really concerned with the idea that this was a catfish, this wasn't a woman, at the time it overshadowed the main issue. The fact that she's a hacker. The fact that she's not playing legit. She's too good for a human being. This wasn't about gender. But after this video that was released in July 2024, if you went to any Minecraft PvP content creator, even someone who was absolutely destroyed by her, with proof that she's cheating, you get immediately and utterly shut down. Because by that point onwards, if you had anything negative to say about Marlowww, you were considered a misogynist in the Minecraft community. You were someone who simply hated women. You were an incel because Marlowww did nothing wrong.
Wow.
So, emboldened by this incredible support by the community, a few months later, around the end of 2024, Marlowww would release a 17-page Google Doc titled The Future of MC Tears.
Okay.
She would reiterate some of the points she raised in her video about Learn being a weirdo and about how the other co-founder, Enz, wasn't agreeing to removing him. This is when she would announce to the world that since she's the one who was paying for the infrastructure of MC Tears, she'd be reclaiming her accounts to become the sole owner of MCTears.com as well as its Minecraft PvP server. She has successfully convinced the community that these 2 other co-founders were weird and that the website was going to continue, but instead of being co-owned by 3 people, it would be owned by her exclusively. There was nothing really suspicious or weird to be considered by the wider community at the time. And so, end of 2024 onwards, this would somewhat be the status quo. After reaching rank 1, Marlowww would retire. MC Tears would still be the top destination for any PvP-related rankings, and on the surface, it seemed like things were starting to calm down. But they weren't. And to be honest, it's mostly because this tier list is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life. By this point, both Marlowww and It's Real Me would have retired. They're not playing the game anymore. They're not participating in rankings anymore. And yet MC Tears had this weird policy where even retired players, get to stay on the overall leaderboard, the overall active leaderboard. This meant that Marlowww was number 1. And since Marlowww somehow managed to get tier 1 in every single game mode, it meant that no one on planet Earth could ever hope to get number 1.
Wow.
Cap the points, 450 points, tier 1 in everything. Even if you were tier 1 in everything, you would only cap at 450 points, which makes you second place, and she reached it first. This meant that she had a chokehold on the tier lists for the Minecraft PvP community and on the number 1 spot. Over time, people would start to find this ridiculous, and the criticism would intensify to never before seen levels. However, if you had anything to say about Marlowww, her cheating, or her not being an actual woman, you would simply get banned from the MC tiers discords as a whole and blacklisted from the server. This meant that you could never hope to participate in this tier list that is considered to be the official tier list for Minecraft PvP.
That's crazy.
You would be able to play on the Minecraft server of MC tiers. Anytime you'd open your mouth to say anything regarding Marlowww that's negative, you would simply be banned for being a dirty, misogynist incel. The silencing would go on for almost 2 years, but it would finally reach a boiling point in 2026, when everything that Marlowww had built would fall apart within the span of a few weeks, while also revealing to us her extremely disturbing master plan, which involved her purposefully waiting until things do reach a boiling point in order to fake her death on a call with some of the biggest Minecraft content creators you can imagine. The Minecraft PvP community would reach a boiling point around January 2026. Around this time, a handful of different YouTubers would release their own videos exposing Marlowww, whether it be deception about the fact that she's a woman, or straight up talking about how she's a hacker, she's a cheater, and she's not actually that good at the game, providing as much proof as possible based on the gameplay we were given. As far as I can tell, this would all start on January 10th, 2026, when the YouTuber Critically would upload the video titled The Art of Deception, Marlowww, in which he'd argue that Marlowww's moves were physically impossible, but also that her gameplay was simply inconsistent. He'd make multiple gameplay-specific arguments as to how Marlowww's gameplay simply didn't make sense unless she was hacking, going up against someone using hacks himself to prove that her moveset was the same exact thing. It was just how a hacker would play. When he would bring any ounce of criticism up in the server, well, he'd get banned for destructive behavior. So now he has no access to MC tiers and can't participate in the tier list. Unlike the videos released in 2024, this one would be received pretty well, with many agreeing. 6 days later, on January 16th, 2026, YouTuber Mario Kart 617 would release a video titled The Curious Case of Marlowww, in which he'd also argue, using some of the same arguments, that Marlowww is simply not legitimate. There are some very obvious signs of aimbotting, as well as just straight up hacking. And all these videos had one thing in common, making the point that the referee shouldn't be a part of the competition. Marlowww, being in such a position of power, allowed her to get away with this for a long time without anyone being able to do anything about it, because she owned the tier list. So as you can see, these videos were coming out fairly frequently in January, and unlike back in 2024, they weren't being received as like conspiracy theorists, because these people weren't focusing on the fact that Marlowww wasn't a woman. They were focusing on the fact that Marlowww was cheating, regardless of gender. And even though Marlowww was running her Discord like a totalitarian dictator, banning pretty much anyone with anything negative to say, these accusations of cheating would start to take hold in a very serious way in the community, to the point where even she couldn't ignore it. Even in her little totalitarian Discord, she had to make some sort of response. And eventually, she did. On January 23rd, 2026, Marlowww would upload the video titled Hacking is Bad, sitting at over 1 million views. Starting off with some text on the screen saying, "For years, I have been accused of hacking, boosting, and other forms of anti-competitive behavior. Throughout the community, for years, people have used my name, skin, etc. in order to attempt to increase views. In recent times, this has been detrimental. A domino effect has led people to rapidly producing content claiming I hack. It certainly does get clicks. I will be proving my legitimacy in a public manner, as it's the only way to make it properly accessible to outsiders coming across slander." So for this, Marlowww would show a hand cam of her mouse. That's it. No keyboard. She'd use some excuse about needing to use a keyboard tray, right? But you can't even see the keyboard, which is funny, because some of the accusations were relating to the...
that is a big error, not showing the keyboard. Dude, for me, I don't think that's possible. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
Hotbar, and how quickly she switched between items that wasn't humanly possible. But anyway, she would show a hand cam, and to the many people watching this, who also happened to watch the other instances in which she destroyed pro players, they could see something very interesting. the fact that she was extremely slow. Okay, this was nothing compared to the gameplay we had seen of Marlowww previously. This was not the same Marlowww that beat Clown 100-0. You know why? Because this actually looked like a human being playing. Those other clips weren't. Marlowww would also show this all happen on a brand new laptop, trying to prove that there were no hacks involved whatsoever. And then would go on to show the entire PC, right? A forensic screenshot. That's the majority of the video. That's like 1 hour, 40 minutes of the video. I say that most people didn't really watch this. But the point that Marlowww was trying to make here is that no, there are no hacks on my PC, and my gameplay is actually legit, but it actually would backfire very hard.
Really?
This was just another dream hiring an astrophysicist scenario. Marlowww had carefully thought out the initial video that she had made back in 2024, making herself out to be a victim being attacked by the Minecraft community for being a woman. But this was different. This felt like she was digging herself deeper into a hole that she had created. That's because her answers to the many questions the community had only ended up raising even more questions. Why are you having your keyboard? Why is your gameplay so different? Why are you so slow? Something just wasn't adding up.
Yeah. Just seeing that, like just seeing that portion earlier of the gameplay, that does not look right, because when it comes to I don't know if my own experience validates this, but when it came to build battle, right? Usually, whenever I have to build very fast, because in build battle you have a time limit of how fast on what you have to build. So as a pro, normally, as a PC player specifically, you normally always have to have your mouse always move around so often, and in this case, my case, I would have to butterfly click like a lot, like many times. And for the keyboard, I would have to make a lot of noise in the keyboard. So if I didn't have my filter on, like my noise filter, you would definitely be hearing a lot of keyboard noises. Because that's how, in my case, in build battle, because you have to move around fast, that is how usually pros do it in build battle. So seeing this made it a lot suspicious based on my experience. Again, my opinion. It's just my opinion. So you don't have to believe it.
So barely a week after uploading this video, as more and more people start to ask questions, and as certain content creators also started to ask these questions, Marlowww would make this statement in her Discord server, saying, "Hey everyone, I'm making this post to announce that I will be transferring ownership of MC tiers and leaving all of my related staff positions. Ownership will be transferred to Rai, who, as many of you know, has been a long-term staff member and contributor to the project. Over time, it has become clear that the bitterness towards my position has grown to a point where it now actively detracts from the community itself. I believe that my presence is no longer ideal for the health and stability of the community. Transferring ownership is circumstantially necessary. I'd like to make something clear though. I reject the claims of corruption, theft, and abuse that have been made against me as an owner, and my decision to transfer ownership does not serve as a concession to being guilty of these claims. Despite leaving, I will not allow my previous reputation as an owner to be tarnished. I intend to release an extensive video covering and conclusively debunking these claims. In fact, it's among my top priorities at the moment, and due to the totality of the claims being made, it will take some time to complete. On a personal level, this is a deeply disappointing decision for me to make. I've invested an enormous amount of time, effort, and care into building this community throughout the many years that I've been a part of it, and it feels as if my effort has been repeatedly met with hatred and vitriol along the way. I still intend to remain part of the competitive scene. Competing has always been one of the core reasons I've been as immersed in the game as I am, and I'm not yet finished fulfilling my ambitions. I believe people will also get to see once more that my success as a player was never a result of any stat position I held, but rather was the result of my mindset and dedication towards becoming a better player. Something that I want to note is that I've been largely offline on Discord. I have signed in out of necessity to make this post, and my absence will remain the case for the foreseeable future while I focus on what's in front of me. I hope that Rai and all the other supporting staff members will have a positive experience with the community moving forward. At this point, the community was split. On one hand, they felt shame that they were part of a community that bullied a woman so endlessly that she had to leave, and they wanted their revenge. On the other hand, people saw this as an admission of guilt, as someone trying to run away, not that they were caught, not wanting to admit that they are a fraud. In the end though, Marlowww had chosen to leave, and with her, many others would follow, including Flowtives, a well-known player in the community who had previously defended Marlowww against the hate and vitriol she had received, that now said he believes she's cheating. Additionally saying that he's very frustrated with the tier list system because almost like 40% of the top 200 players are just hackers in his opinion. Things felt like they were completely falling apart, but this was just the beginning. This was nothing compared to what would happen next. On February 12th, 2026, the YouTuber Refwan would release a video titled Marlowww, the biggest cheater in Minecraft history. Here, we get some of the most detailed analysis on the internet.
A detailed analysis? Oh boy, this is gonna be crazy.
When it came to why and how Marlowww cheats, going frame by frame to show that it's physically impossible as to how fast Marlowww would switch items on the hotbar. The only way to do so is hacking.
Wow.
That's literally how it looks when you hack, as well as going deep inside the math of it all. This would really analyze all sides as well, trying to view this from different viewpoints. Okay, what if she's innocent? Then that means this happened. Well, if she's not innocent, that means this happened. Additionally, he'd reach out to some of the top players in the community, as well as people who are specialists when it comes to Minecraft hacks. Not a single person sided with Marlowww. And this to many was enough proof. She's 100% cheating. There's no arguing about it anymore. People are finally not scared to talk about it. But again, you'd be mistaken to think that this is where things ended. Because now that people understood that Marlowww was hacking, next up came the accusation that was already shut down a couple years ago for sexism, which was the fact that Marlowww wasn't even Marlowww. It was a man that was pretending to be a woman. On March 15th, 2026,
typical internet fashion,
Refwan would upload another video titled The Marlowww Interview featuring Danger Marlowww. In this video, Refwan would get into a call with Marlowww and ask her to prove that she's a woman by saying some very simple words, nothing crazy. So Marlowww took the bait, thinking that this was going to be simple. But Refwan had carefully planned this out. Before we get into this, you have to understand how Marloww's real voice sounded, the one that was shown in her previous videos.
Okay.
To lay the red carpet for a new prospect to replace me by exiling me from the community. Well, to most people, this video seemed like it was intended to service the...
So this was how she sounded in her 2024 video in which she accused the community of blackpiling her. Now listen to how she sounds on the call with Refwan when he would ask her to say some very simple words. Cat, key, cow, cake, cookie, kick, coke.
Okay.
Cat, key, cow, cake, cookie, kick, coke.
Oh, okay. I can definitely see it sounds definitely like a little AI now. Oh boy. This is getting crazy now.
Song for me? I'm not gonna sing a song for you.
So look, it sounded very robotic, suspiciously so. He would then ask her to sing a song. She doesn't want to sing a song. Okay, fine. He would then ask her a very simple request. The final request. Please, just say do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do with the proper pitch, right? Like not
the proper pitch. Oh, that one. Oh, dude, that's actually pretty. That's a smart one. I don't know if it'll work, but yeah. So we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Yeah. Let's see if they actually do this. I don't know, dude.
Not do, re, mi, fa. No, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. And so, yeah, watch what happens.
Okay. Okay, just say do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. You don't have to sing it. Just change pitch. That's it.
Okay.
She's nowhere to be found. She's still online, on the phone, nowhere to be found.
Uh-oh.
Can't even say the simple sentence, right? Like a 5-year-old can do this.
Oh no!
Type in the message.
After 1 minute and 13 seconds of pure silence, Marlowww would disconnect and then would conveniently say that the power cut out in her state. Yeah, how convenient. Things were now looking horrendously bad for Marlowww. Not only were people convinced that she was a straight-up hacker, but now it was about the fact that she wasn't even a woman. In fact, he was pretending to be a woman this whole time. But why? To what end? What's the goal here?
I'm guessing it's to gain reasons to defend yourself. Cause yeah, we know how the internet works.
Who is this Danger Mario, and what the hell does he want from this community? What was the plan? Well, after this video from Refwan, we would find out, and it would be way more disturbing than any of us could have ever imagined.
Okay,
on March
then.
18th, 2025, the YouTuber Aximity would upload a video titled Marloww's True Identity, in which he claims that someone close to Danger Mario, who knew him, would join his Discord claiming he had text messages dating back all the way to 2023 that would expose him for who he truly was and his entire plan involving Marlowww. So these two would communicate on the messaging app known as Telegram. And this leaker with messages dating back to 2023 would be referring to this other person as Danger, aka Danger Mario, the person accused of being behind the control of Marlowww. Back in December 2023, we could see the plans that Danger Mario was having for Marlowww, saying, But next year I'm going to hard grind YouTube and commentate content by cloning an AI voice impression of Marlowww. I'll rack up a bunch of subs and become pretty well known, then I might open up a large-scale Minecraft server as they are extremely profitable.
Oh,
I have
wow.
a Discord server full of social media influencers and server admins, and I'm going to use that to fully prepare the blacklist, which is basically a list of players that have been known for malicious activity like swatting, grooming, doxing, etc.
Oh my goodness, no.
Camaraderie with a lot of relevant servers and influencers simply by running something so community-oriented. Hell, in 2024, Danger Mario would send the leaker an image. In it, we can see Discord messages, and more importantly, in the yellow highlighted text, we can see Marlowww being either replied to or pinged. This only happens when you're the person being pinged or being replied to. So he's right here showing that he's actually Marlowww. This leaker was someone who definitely was very trusted by Danger Mario. Back in 2024, as Marlowww was getting a lot of backlash and needed to address the community in some way, Danger Mario would write these statements and then send them to this leaker to ask his opinion. And one of the most interesting things in these text messages would be how in January 26, 2024, Danger Mario would already be pre-planning to release the infamous video known as My Experience with the Minecraft PvP Community on July 2024. He would, in his own words, say, "Indeed, this next vid is going to be about the community. It'll be really good for sparking drama and people sympathizing. Should redirect the haters and gain tons of support." The leaker would say, "Nice thumbnail. Yeah, that'll definitely spark drama." To which Danger Mario would say, "I might be able to attain full ownership of the tier list in doing this," showing that this was the plan all along. Additionally, in these messages, we'd see Danger Mario sending this leaker an image of the hacks that he's using. It was an add-on to the client that he was using, the Meteor client. The reason why it went undetected for so long was because there was...
Okay, I need to pause. Dude, this is outright depressing, dude, for me. I don't know if I have the strength to continue watching this. I'll just finish it for you guys. So, let's continue.
Only one version of this. It was coded by someone named SNQ, purely just for Danger Mario. We'd also understand why Marlowww sounded so weird in Refuan's video. That's because he'd be planning ever since January 2024 to generate an AI clone of himself talking in the Marlowww voice. Apparently, Danger Mario had a pretty good effeminate voice. The guy had a high-pitched voice, I guess, and would want to train an AI to speak like him, and he would actually start using it for videos. This is when the leaker would link a video of a collab between Marlowww and someone else, I guess, and would say, "Was this the AI voice? It's pretty good." To which Marlowww would say, or I guess, yeah, Danger Mario would say, "No, that was not good enough for me. I did that like 1.5 years ago and he uploaded it late. It bothered me. Next vid will be a lot more legit sounding." And so, of course, when it comes to these text messages, some people would say that it's probably too convenient, right? This really features everything here. Well, Ximity didn't just upload this video without doing any research or really looking into this. He'd go above and beyond and would attach every single bit of proof this leaker had about Danger Mario in a Google Drive. We'd even see a video of the leaker himself opening Telegram on his phone to show that all of these messages are legit. They're not made up, they're not photoshopped.
Oh, jeez.
This is exactly why the final part of this video is so damn disturbing. Genuinely, in all my time looking at like content creator drama, I've never seen something so disgusting, so audacious.
Yikes.
In messages with the...
Okay then, if this is gonna be disgusting... Okay, I am scared now, actually. I don't know if I want to continue this. Okay, let's just get this done.
Leaker as early as December 2023, Danger Mario would understand that eventually this whole Marlowww persona will be exposed. This is when he'd come up with what he'd call the peer plot, saying, "I'm going to fake Marlowww's off of a bridge with the camera facing the other way. I'll do it in a group with Marlowww's closest friends and a few influencers. But before that, I'm going to spread false allegations about her from an alt, which I have already received staff positions on allegations."
Oh my
built
goodness.
Up the realism in Marlowww committing and vent conversations to her friends. Anyways, the allegation video is more of a spark because I know the community is going to freak out over it. I'll have fully faked evidence and it will look legit. I think starting the Minecraft server will be pretty smart though. First, there are some people I want to help as well that I know as Marlowww, so I need to attain some kind of financial success as well. Hyde thinks it's probably a poor decision to do the peer plot. But my concern is that I know that this won't last forever and eventually something will come out. So I have to be able to do something like this before it ends, then I'll be successful in my goal. He'd even go as far as to say that if people would find out that the whole attempt was fake, he'll just reverse it later, saying that he was in a mental hospital for months. It's just absolutely disgusting. It's mind-boggling. Someone like this was able to get away with this for this long, all while throwing an entire gender under the bus. And for what? Some money? Some fame? Really? This is how far you'd go just to get that? Let's not forget that Marlowww was an inspiration for a lot of female gamers. This person, or at this point, persona, had a lot of fans, both male and female. People who had bothered to defend her, people who had bothered to be there for her in her most vulnerable moments. This would have traumatized so many people, and this dude's over here talking about it casually like he's about to go for boba tea on a Sunday. I mean, this Danger Mario guy is ridiculous. At some point, he'd be working with someone in order to make the MC Tiers website, right? This was meant to be a joint venture. They were meant to work together. This meant that the person who made the website trusted Marlowww, or Danger Mario. It's the same person. Well, Danger Mario would just simply steal the entire website without really paying this person or even working with them. What the promise was, and that's actually how the current MC Tiers website would exist. This whole design was stolen by Marlowww. The person who got scammed had to make an entirely different website on their own, and it's called PvPtiers.com, which is now a competitor to MCTiers.com, but still not as popular. And I think the most ironic thing in all this is that Proximity had actually made a video about Marlowww almost a year ago, back in 2024. He got harassed so badly by Marlowww's community, called a sexist, an incel, misogynist, etc., that he ended up having to delete his entire channel. But there he is, back, and this time fully vindicated. To say that this absolutely shattered the Minecraft PvP community would be an understatement. This was an unprecedented earthquake, and now the memes that have come out of this are endless. One of my favorites is how Marlowww was able to get tier 1 in everything except singing Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Si Do. But of course, the main question was, now that this is all out, what did Marlowww have to say about it? What was Marloww's response? She, or now he, was always there when controversy would get this big, was always willing to respond. Most people would have expected Marlowww to completely disappear after this. Surprisingly, they would send a message in Discord to everyone on March 18th, 2026, in which they would say, at everyone, "Hi, I want to provide you all with a proper explanation for everything that is currently going on. I'm generally reserved when it comes to addressing allegations, since I feel like it's best to do it in video form. But this controversy has reached a point where I can't not say anything. Increasingly, this has blown up to the point where havoc is being wreaked upon my reputation, my friendships, and my mental health. As most of you probably know, over the course of the year, I have been receiving cheating allegations. Over time, these allegations shifted from cheating into something more personal. For a long time now, I have been working on an extensive video to debunk the allegations being brought against me. The video has taken up countless hours of work and is already over 2 hours long. It would be already out by now, but every day more allegations come. It is challenging to keep up with the quantity and scope of new relevant videos and allegations to cover. I'm going to have to draw the line for how much I can include in this video. I will be finishing up everything I have already currently planned to include, and will be publishing the video as soon as I am able to. Due to the new serious allegations that have come out, I will have to create another video after the release of my next one. While my upcoming video will provide a large amount of insight into many of the claims being made, it is important that I address everything, hence the need for another afterwards. Recently, allegations surrounding the player Danger Mario have resurfaced, and all the subsequent allegations that come as a result. The driving factor behind all of this is the quantity of the supporting evidence. My belief is that anyone who is judging the situation this way is unaware of the extent of impersonation that this player, as well as his surrounding group of friends, have gone to in order to ruin me. I've already made a video which included this in extreme detail. See section Totalitarianism in my experience with the Minecraft PvP community. The most compelling part of the evidence being used against me is the fact that it has instances of conversations and personal details discussed about me within it. My ADHD as an example. In my full debunk video, I'll be addressing the origins of how these things were obtained, as well as what is actually going on throughout the situation. It's important that I reiterate, people claiming to be me does not mean that they are me. I understand that the scale of the evidence might appear significant, but it must be remembered that this is the same group of people that are willing to create an entire 2B2T YouTube series in an attempt to lure me into getting further conned. I strongly advise people refamiliarize themselves with what was covered in my old video, as it demonstrates the persistent pattern of behavior that serves as the foundation for everything happening today. Now look, I know what you might be thinking. How did she exactly disprove the fact that she's Danger Mario in this 2-hour, 14-minute video? Well, yes, it will be in the section Totalitarianism, and it would mostly focus on a few interesting individuals that wouldn't stop harassing her about the fact that she's Danger Mario. These people would inconsistently accuse Marlowww of being Danger Mario, while also saying that they used to know Danger Mario on the Anarchy server that he used to play on back in 2021. Marlowww would claim that this is harassment and that what they were saying was inconsistent, but the problem was that this felt like Marlowww was purely focusing on these people because it was easy to focus on them. It was easy to make them look bad because they didn't seem to be the most mentally stable individuals, and that worked at the time. But right now, this is all outdated. These text messages that were leaked from Telegram are completely different from this. You can't fake dates on Telegram. If something was sent in 2023, it was sent in 2023, and we have proof. The person opened Telegram and showed us. It's not photoshopped, it's not edited. How would Marlowww explain that a screenshot was sent from someone who's being referred to as Danger, in which he was being pinged on the Marlowww account. It just doesn't make sense. It's very easy to tell people, oh, go watch this 2-hour video that I know you won't even watch to prove that I'm innocent. But in reality, these Telegram messages pretty much debunk everything. In the end, though, Marlowww seems to care more about the fact that people are exposing that, well, he's a man, compared to the fact that he's a cheater. The evidence and the proof are simply overwhelming. This is not real gameplay, this is not real skill, and this has nothing to do with whether this is a man or a woman. But it was Danger Mario himself, or Marlowww, or whatever you want to call this person, that very conveniently used the fact that they were a woman to deflect any criticism, throwing an entire gender under the bus. At the same time, the master plan of faking their death in order to run away from having to take responsibility for being a fraud is peak degenerate behavior. And you know what's crazy? Dude. Throughout my research, I saw people who didn't even play Minecraft PvP defending Marlowww, right? Because they just happened to be a woman, or they just happened to be someone who wanted to stand up for women's rights, and saw people bullying Marlowww, thinking that it's simply because a woman happened to be good at a game and was being bullied for it because of insecure men. The person behind Marlowww planning to do something like this is the biggest form of insult for anyone who's dealing with mental health issues, and even content creators who went through the same thing and actually went with taking their own life. One example that comes to my mind is Etika, and it's just disgusting that someone like this would want to attempt to recreate
Etika. That is a name I have not heard in a very long time.
That all just to get away from the responsibility of something they created. Look, usually I wait for someone's response, but I doubt that Marlowww's response is going to be adequate. I doubt that it's going to be any different from the last video they made. This is just another dream situation where we have so much proof that they're cheating, and while they can try to yap and talk for 2 to 3 hours about it, nothing is going to change. In fact, the more you talk about it, the more you'll seem suspicious, because why do you need to explain so much? The community has already made up its mind, and even people who used to call others misogynistic for calling out Marlowww.
Unfortunately, that's true.
With them. This was never about gender, and it shouldn't ever be about gender. This is about someone who took over an entire community illegitimately in the most manipulative way possible. And if there's anything for you to learn from this, it's to never defend content creators blindly. Look at all the different perspectives and then make up your mind. Otherwise, you'll be severely disappointed, like many of the people who gave everything for Marlowww, now feeling like idiots. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for letting me know about this. Dude, this is outright depressing.
Videos where I yap uploaded every month, as well as a lot of high quality art of my character. So make sure to check out my stacked page and the pinned comment. Prices start at $1. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. Love you platonically. Mwah.
Dude. Okay, final thoughts. This is just outright depressing. This is the very reason that Minecraft as a whole has been given a bad reputation over time. To me, I'm not into this kind of competitive stuff, but it is this very same competitive stuff that made Minecraft extremely discouraging, or like it made me have reasons to play it a lot less. All this like accusations and cheating and stuff like that, or whatever, I'm not into that. I don't really care about it at all. I don't care if you're the best in Minecraft or anything like that, dude. The whole reason why we even watch these is because we want to actually have fun. Like, we want to have fun. We want to actually have a good time. Not some kind of like, not to cause like drama and stuff, for as like the person, as what the person said at the start of the video. I don't know, like money, corruption, and all that stuff. I'm getting easily discouraged by the Minecraft community, like the competitive side. And I'm sorry if I'm yapping like crazy, but yeah. It's also okay. I will repeat this because I think I mentioned this earlier in the reaction. A long time ago, I used to be the #1 build battle player in a server called the Hive, and this was one of the very few reasons why I actually left. Like all these accusations and stuff, like happening to over like people who are in the #1 or in the top leaderboards. I was kind of scared that I would just pretty much get hated on. The reason why I was like good at playing the game was because I just wanted to have fun. I guess the best way to explain it is I did it for fun and without any bad intentions. So seeing this, it really discourages me because it gives a much more worse reputation to the Minecraft community, especially those who do not main Minecraft. Because I've already seen like thumbnails of other people reacting to this video. I don't know what their reactions are, but I can be sure of one thing. They're going to see Minecraft as a bad thing, and it's disheartening for me. And yeah, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's go back to the topic of me being number one. I decided to stop the grind of being the number one in that leaderboard or in the Hive server because I just did not want to deal with this kind of stuff. Like, I don't want people to start looking at everything that I do. I started YouTube because I wanted to have fun. I did not want to be hated on all the time. The fact that Mujin mentioned that the Minecraft community has a trust issue for competitive stuff, I have this kind of trust issue as well. So him saying that, this pretty much makes it a lot harder for me and many others to trust competitive people, and that's why I gave up on the or decided to stop working on being the number one completely, because I wanted people to know me for who I am and not some like, oh, you're that number one player that who is best at everything in building. So that is why I gave up on that. I just wanted to build for the love of it. And I know it sounds like I'm trying to be weird, and I know that a lot of you guys probably don't trust what I'm saying right now, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You probably don't know me, and so whatever reasons it is, it's up to you and how you want to see me. Just know that everything I've said at this point is it is honest. Because something I want to do that many other creators don't do is to be honest. It's not gonna be easy, but I want to try my best to be an honest person in everything I do. I just don't know, dude. I was when I first entered this video, I was thinking, okay, you know what, this is fine. I'm sure this is just another like dream situation back then, a long time ago. But no, it turns out it's a lot worse. And I feel bad for the people that actually sacrifice so much for all this, like defending whether Marlowww was actually innocent or not. All of this has just caused mental problems for those people that try to defend that person. I feel bad for the people that are affected by this, and whoever got affected by this, whether directly or from just watching this video, I feel sorry for everyone who's been affected by this. So to everyone who's been affected by this negatively, I hope you can find someone that can comfort you despite the sacrifices you did for this whole situation. Because defending someone only to find out that it goes bad as this, it just sucks. Talking all about this drama it's just sad. It's kind of why I've just been taking my time on doing things in Minecraft. I just did not like the competitive side of Minecraft. It always ended up like this most of the time. Anyway, I know that this video is probably going to be cut multiple times, so there'll be skips and stuff like that. I'm sorry for that, because I am definitely going to be silent most of the time, trying to think of how I feel about this whole thing. I guess honestly, I think that's all I have to say, honestly. But before I go, there is always one thing I want to tell you guys. Everything I said is just my thoughts and my opinions, alright? So, if you don't want to believe me, don't believe me. If you want to believe me. It's up to you. But know that all the things I say right here are honest from me, alright? I don't want to be dealing with this kind of... I don't like to talk about drama like this. Anyway, that's all from me. Thank you guys so much, and I think I'm gonna take a bit of a break now. I just don't... I guess I just can't help but reminisce about how... I just can't help but reminisce the good days of Minecraft a long time ago. Yeah. I think I'll stop here.